Okay, there's a story that's been in the news that I do want to talk about, and this has to do with the white-tailed deer population on Long Island and in William Floyd Estate in Mastic Beach, to be specific. And they're unfortunately planning this large deer hunt that I'm against because, I mean, I understand that we have an overpopulation of deer, but killing that many deer is completely unacceptable. And if the situation, it's not the deer's fault that there's an overpopulation. It's our fault for knocking down a lot of their habitat, and also for killing off a lot of their predators. So let me read the article, and I'm going to show you where this is. All right, so I'm going to read to you this Newsday article about this deer hunt that was planned. They're calling it a culling in William Floyd Estate. So a federal judge stopped the plan to reduce the whitetail population to preserve habitat after animal welfare activists requested a temporary restraining order. So a federal judge postponed the start of a 2-year culling of white-tailed deer that had been set to start Wednesday at the William Floyd Estate in Mastic Beach at the request of animal welfare groups that sued to stop the hunt. A judge set a Thursday hearing to consider whether to allow the hunt to go forward or to keep the suspension in place as the lawsuit proceeds. Fire Island National Seashore's officials plan to have 100 of the 132 deer living on the 1 square mile estate shot and killed. Seashore officials have said the culling is necessary because the herd is so large it is destroying the landscape. Animal welfare groups, however, say non-lethal methods to control the herds, including contraception, are preferable, and the culling by gunfire will prove unsuccessful. Representatives of the Washington, D.C.-based Animal Welfare Institute and Newark-based Wildlife Preserves Incorporated filed an emergency motion last Friday seeking a temporary restraining order to stop the hunt, and the judge approved it. The two nonprofits sued the Fire Island National Seashore in November, arguing the hunt violated the National Environmental Policy Act and deed restrictions governing land donated to the seashore. A spokesman for the Fire Island National Seashore, Elizabeth Rogers, confirmed that the hunt had been suspended, referring additional questions to the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York. Thursday's hearing before U.S. District Court Judge Sandra Feuerstein is scheduled for 11:30 a.m. in Central Islip Federal Court. Park officials have said there are too many deer and their foraging is too destructive to be allowed to continue. They eat native trees, shrubs, and saplings, preventing the forest from maturing and limiting the other wildlife the park can support, Fire Island National Seashore Superintendent Alex Romero said in a statement on Tuesday. The goal of this effort is to provide a healthy forest habitat for all plants and animals, Romero said, and to preserve the historic landscape of the William Floyd Estate. Romero said that without the culling, there is little help for these habitats to recover. Critics of the cullings have argued for years that the government should control the deer population through contraception, not hunts. The animal welfare group in their lawsuit said the seashore failed to consider and review a reasonable range of alternatives, including contraception, and failed to disclose all relevant data to the public. Further, the suit said the seashore would return the land wildlife preserves donated decades ago that later became the sunken forest section of the national park that is located on the barrier island. The deed required that it should be maintained as a wildlife sanctuary. The culling was to be carried out by the U.S. Department of Agriculture employees armed with shotguns. Any deer would be donated to the food bank, said Elizabeth Rogers, a spokesman for the Fire Island National Seashore. All right, so let's talk about where this is located. And you can see there's the Pine Barrens over here, and William Floyd Estate is over here, I believe, somewhere. I believe this is it right here. All right, so this is the William Floyd Estate right here, in this area right here. And it's in the Pine Barrens. Well, it is in what is left of the Pine Barrens, I should say. And, the problem is that they're blaming the deer, and it's not the deer's fault that we have overdeveloped Long Island. And so why are there so few deer in why are there so many deer in such a small area? It's not because there's too many deer, it's because we've created, look at all the development we've created here. So there's very little habitat for the deer, and whatever habitat is left is overcrowded. and it's a sad situation. It really is. And I'm against the hunt. At that point, at this point, from what I've heard, I don't think there should be. And they've talked about doing this on Fire Island too. I think there are better ways to go about this. Um, as far as having the sharpshooters come in, and I don't think there are any pictures of here. No, there aren't any pictures. But we can look at it from the outside a little bit to show you what it looks like inside here. And it's supposed to be pine barrens, but it's mostly oaks in here. There's some pines. This is again because we've had fires kept out of the. They're worried about the habitat, but meanwhile they don't want to talk about what the lack of fire is doing to these places, because the pines are getting overrun by oaks and all kinds of stuff that shouldn't be in there. I'm trying to get a better image here for you, but sort of like what it looks like in there. It's not really. I mean, it is. There's pines here, but it's like I said. It's. Let's see if we can get some pictures this way. Let's see. I've got to go over here and look over here. Maybe we can get. We have 65 photos. Let's see if we can find some photos of what it looks like here. Here's the estate, but there are trails, and here are the deer right here. So these are the deer, and there's a lot of deer here. There are 132 deer. But like I said, I don't think deer are the problem. I think that we have too much development. That's the problem. How about culling some of the development? How about that? How about knocking down the development and restore? How about that? How about that for an idea? Let's get rid of some of these developments that we have out here. Let's go into some of these developments they built, these McMansion developments. Let's knock them down. Let's return that to nature. How about that? I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. A lot more sense than a deer hunt. Anyway, that's my thoughts on this. So take it easy.